Hey, what's up guys and welcome back to Anime King. And today I'm gonna be giving you part 23 of What If Naruto Was Trained by All the Greats at a Young Age. Remember to get this one to 100 likes as usual, share this to all of your friends in your social media platform, and also guys, go ahead and check out the brand new episode of What If Naruto Was Betrayed by Hagoromo and enjoy that guys. And remember, if you're new and this is the first time you hear my voice, and you enjoy the videos on both Anime King and Anime King 3, go ahead and click that red subscribe button and become part of the Anime King family. And thank you for all of your help and your support. Link of Anime King 3 will be down in the description, so go over there and click that red subscribe button guys, and become part of the channel, and thank you for all of your help and your support. And yeah, without further ado, what do you say begin this new episode? Start the intro. So the last time we left off, Jiraiya sent the toad to Naruto, as Naruto got the information as he sent something back. As he went to his office and got his team, as Uchiha wanted to come as well. But Naruto did not want to put her in danger, but she told him that she was here to be his bodyguard, and she didn't need his protection. He sighs, they sealed them all away in scrolls. Shizune told him to be careful. Last time, Tsunade went on a mission and left her in charge, and didn't come back. As Naruto gave her a smile and told her to believe in him, and with that he flashed her with the Harashin, as he made his way to Jiraiya, as he unsealed them all. Itachi and Kabuto was after a guy that controlled the very lightning, as the rain was pouring and lightning was clashing, as Naruto made them sit up in the teams. As Hinata and Jiraiya came across the guy, he was scared, as he brought the lightning as Hinata saw the chakra flowing into his hand, as lightning exploded around him, hitting Jiraiya badly. She was able to heal him, but the guy, he ran away. As that was confusing, well, he was scared, but they didn't know why he was here. As Itachi was by himself when Naruto arrived. Kabuto was intercepted by Kiba and Kakashi, but he ended up escaping after receiving a wound, as he dropped down to the water pool, as his body was sucked away underneath. Meanwhile, Naruto was facing off against Itachi, with Uchiha at his side as Naruto was able to create a dome of pure darkness to cancel the effects of the Sharingan inside, as Itachi couldn't see a single thing. Uchiha used her navy body to protect Naruto from the black flames, as she used the Bicho's chakra to protect Naruto until it wore out, as she exhausted herself. As Naruto told Itachi that it was over, as he asked him if he would mind coming back to the village and face his crime as a prisoner, but Itachi said no. And with that, Naruto shot her on the Harashin, moving at speeds that Itachi couldn't even see before. But now the darkness made it more efficient. Itachi felt something tear through his back and burst through his chest, as he saw the hilt of the blade that Naruto was holding, as he collapsed down. Before he died though, he told Naruto, as Naruto asked him about the Akatsuki, he told him 6. The group then gathered as Naruto had sealed away Itachi's body, as they need to get Jiraiya back as well. As Naruto gave Kiba and Kakashi a mission to hunt down this guy, who the Akatsuki was after, in case he was a Jinchuriki, and they need to get him back as well. If the Akatsuki want him, there must be a good reason. After that, Naruto made his way back to the village, as he went by to visit Ryuki. The elders were there as well, and Mikato was there as well, as he had Itachi's body, as Ryuki wanted to see it, so he unsealed it. Mikato understood that her son did so many bad things, but she still wanted him to be buried within the Uchiha compound, but Ryuki told her no, as the elder seemed to argue with him that Itachi was a traitor that killed his brother, and he deserved nothing like that. He should be tossed aside, like an unnamed body. So yeah guys, so basically that's where we left off. You guys can switch across the place and check it out for yourself. So, what is to begin this new episode? No, he will not, Ryuki said sharply. He's a disgrace to the Uchiha name. He murdered his own father, my brother. He will not receive burial with his clan. His body will be burned like rubbish and his ashes scatter in the winds. Both Mikato and Gabriella looked up at him in horror. The clan elders nodded as they agreed with that. Ryuki, please, I beg you, said Mikato. Let him be buried with his family. I know he did terrible things in his life, but he has paid for them. Can you not show mercy, for my sake if not for his? As Ryuki looked at his sister-in-law who was still on her knees by her dead son. How can you even ask that? Have you forgotten Fukaku? He said. I am certain my husband has forgiven him, and will want his eldest son to rest with his kin. No, Ryuki said. For his father's murder and his many other crimes, there can be no forgiveness. You granted Sasuke burial despite his crimes, Mikato pointed out. That was different, Ryuki said. Sasuke went mad. What he did was tragic. But you cannot blame a man for going mad, any more than you can blame a man for going sick. Naruto had a very different opinion than that, but he held his mouth. Itachi, deliberately, chose to abandon his village and break his oath. Every crime he commits is done of his own free will. He's a disgrace to the Uchiha name, and I will not permit him to be buried in the Uchiha cemetery, even in the unmarked grave. The words were harsh and spoken, with no pity or remorse in them. As Mikato broke down completely, she threw herself on Itachi's cold chest and cried. Gabriella looked at her father pleadingly. Please, father, for Aunt Mikato's sake, can't we just show a little bit of mercy this one time? Itachi's gone, what difference does it really make now? As her father frowned, the difference is, being buried with his clan and ancestor is a sign of honor, and for his crimes I will not grant him such honor even in death. My decision is final. Gabriella, switch your attention towards Naruto. Hokage-sama, please allow him to be buried, even if it is not with the clan. The Hokage has returned his body to the clan and given us charge of it. It is no longer his decision, said Ryuki. The truth was, with Itachi's death, Naruto's desires for revenge were satisfied. What happened to the body had never mattered to him, but he would have willing to allow a burial in an unmarked grave if it helped Mikato. But he shook his head. I'm sorry, Gabriella, but Ryuki is right. I have returned the body to the clan. I can simply not go back on my word. With that, there was nothing left for Gabriella to do but try and comfort her aunt. Time skip. As Naruto left shortly after, well, that was uncomfortable, he said. On the way back to the tower, you did the right and honorable thing, Yujito said. It's not your fault things went as they did. I think I'd rather fight another life and death battle than go through that again, said Naruto. Yujito nodded. It's not easy to tell mother that his child is dead, even if he deserved his fate. Ryuki had wasted no time as Itachi's body was wrapped in bed sheets and carried out to a quiet corner of the Uchiha district. Piece of food was gathered and the body was drenched in kerosene. A few Uchihas kept the rest of the clan at distance, as Mikato cried as the body was burned down. Time skip. Auntie, said Gabriella, is there anything I can do for you? After the things he'd done, Gabriella had no affection left for her cousin, but she wanted, well, her aunt to be okay. She rubbed her eyes and gave her niece a tired smile, as her body was tired. As she hugged her though. You're a kind girl, Gabriella. Don't you ever change, okay? As she let go and started to walk back to her home. Will you be alright, auntie? Of course. She then stopped. Do you know that I wish that I had been more like Kushina? You wanted to be a kunoichi? No, she had a son, who was considered to be a genius ninja, who had a lot to endure growing up, than either of my sons did. Yet somehow he reached his full potential, while still being happy, and still being able to smile through it all. I had two sons who were considered geniuses, and look what happened to them. I failed them both. This wasn't your fault, said Gabriella. Itachi and Sasuke made their own decisions. You're not to blame for what they did, aren't I? She said quietly. I couldn't keep Itachi from being rushed straight into the Anfu. I couldn't keep him from feeling all the pressure of the clan's expectations. I couldn't keep Sasuke from being slowly poisoned by his hatred. I wasn't even able to have his curse seal suppressed, and I couldn't even have Itachi buried. I failed them both. As she started to walk away again, asked Gabriella, watch her go. She had no idea how to comfort her poor aunt. I would like to speak to you, daughter. As she saw her father frown at her. Well, I don't want to talk to you, she said. Ryuki frowned. If you're serious about becoming clan-head one day, you should know it requires you face difficult situations without wavering. Do not imagine you will only have easy choice to make. Why couldn't you allow a burial for Aunt Mikato's sake, even if it was in the public cemetery? Had I allowed such, it would be seen as a weakness on our part. It actually disgraced the clan name. We have to be seen as washing our hands of him completely. Even when it breaks Mikato's heart, she asked. Yes, he said without any hesitation. My concerns for the clan as a whole, not individual members. And besides... His voice dropped off. Besides what, she said. Her father hesitated. Besides what? I want to know. She raised him and Sasuke. Obviously, mistakes were made. You're blaming her for them? Not all of it, certainly. Both Itachi and Sasuke are responsible for their actions. But obviously, she was too weak to instill proper discipline into them. Oh, so I suppose she should have made him feel worthless and weak, instead of giving them love. As she knew all too well what her father believed children needed. In his mind, a parent's job was to push their child without mercy, even to the point of rejecting them. And if you want to push blame, how about blaming Uncle Fukaku for denying Itachi a normal child would? And why don't you take some blame for preventing Sasuke Curse-Seal from being locked away? Or do you think the Curse-Seal helped his mental state? She was livid, as she just walked away. Time skip. Mikato finished a small bottle of sake. She set the bottle down and turned off the water. The tub was full and the water was nice and hot, as she carefully settled into the tub. From the side of the tub, she looked at the framed picture. It was her husband, and their two small sons. Sasuke was a year old and Itachi was 9. Everyone in the photo was smiling. By that time, Itachi was already a ninja and had his Sharingan. He had become more and more serious, but he hadn't stopped smiling yet. Everyone had a smile in the picture. They were a happy family back then. As Mikato wondered how it all went so wrong, they were all happy once. How could things have ended the way they did? She loved them so much, her husbands and their sons. All she ever wanted for them is that they be happy. She never cared if they were ninja or not. The family in the picture seemed like a normal one. How had it gone so wrong? She shut her eyes. She started to cry for her children and her husband. She had done her best, but it clearly wasn't enough. And now that Itachi was gone, leaving her, she was tired of it. As she reached up towards the edge and pulled a sharp kitchen knife, with great care she sliced her arms. It hurt, but not too much as the blood started to flow. She set the knife down and closed her eyes. The water in the tub darkened. She knew this would hurt Gabriella and many others, and she was sorry for that. But her own pain was too much to bear any longer. She couldn't take it anymore. Now that Itachi was gone, there was nothing left holding her to his life. As her mind and her strength drifted away, she remembered playing with her two boys, as her darling husband smiled. If Kami was merciful, she prayed, that would be her afterlife, the sea, and play with them again. Time skip. The funeral take place after her death. As not a ninja, but she was still a Uchiha. She was buried beside her husband and Sasuke. More than 100 people came in their mourning clothes as well, laid on a flower and said their goodbye. Most of them were the Uchihas that couldn't activate their Sharingan. These were the members that lived within the Uchiha compound as shopkeeper, tradesman, or merchants. They were part of a population that the shinobi part of the Uchiha tried to ignore. They took pride in their family name, but they lived quiet life that had nothing to do with fighting. Among the ninja part, only 2 had chosen to attend. Ryuki felt like it would be bad for him not to attend the funeral service of his sister-in-law. As Clan Hades spoke the eulogy, as Gabriella placed a flower and whispered a silent prayer for her beloved aunt. Her aunt Mikato had never said a harsh word to her ever. She offered Gabriella support even her own father had turned her back. After putting the flower down, she returned to her place beside Haku. He offered her confident smile as he took her hand in his, as she was so grateful for him being there. There were 3 others as well: Kushina, Naruto, and Yujito. Each came forward to pay their respects. When the service was complete, Gabriella left with Haku. On the way, she stopped to share a few words with some of the others, as she did not say a word to her father. Time skip. What do you think you're doing? Asked Hinata sternly. Nothing, Jiraiya said, but he sounded incredibly guilty. The fact that he was in his hospital gown about to jump through the window did not help one bit. As Hinata rushed over and slammed the window shut, as she turned to face him. Jiraiya, I want you in that bed right now, she said. As Jiraiya let out a perverted giggle. Well, alright, but don't you want to shut the door first? As Hinata realized what she said, and blushed, a deep red of embarrassment, as she squeaked, as Neji stepped inside with his cane. Is there something going on? He asked. Not yet, Jiraiya said. Jiraiya, Hinata said angrily. I'm just teasing, he says. He raised his hand. She shook her head and tried to get over her embarrassment. I told you before, you have to stay here at least 3 weeks to let those burns fully heal. I feel just fine. I'm just gonna have a little steak and maybe do some research. I promise, I'll be back later. Perhaps I can help, said Neji. Without warning, he activated his Byakugan and jabbed 2 fingers in Jiraiya's lower back and caught him as he fell over. What the hell, Jiraiya says. He started to panic. I can't feel my legs. As Neji pushed him back towards the bed. The effects will wear off in a few hours. Now please, behave yourself, Jiraiya-sama. I will hate to have to do this to you every day. Time skip. Thank you for that, Neji, said Hinata. He grinned and nodded. You're welcome, Hinata. Since becoming a medic, he realized his place in this world wasn't so terrible after all. As helping people who need help had given him some sense of peace. He had a place of honor and was needed. How's Tenten? Hinata asked. As Neji had learned to smile again, Hinata and him had healed old wounds and become close. For her, Neji had finally become a protective bigger brother that she always wanted him to be. She's out of the village on a mission at the moment. Is everything still alright with the two of you? Asked Hinata. Neji chuckled, a sound that was no longer tinged in bitterness and sarcasm. Well, she's still willing to put up with me, so I guess that means everything is fine. Actually, things were much better than fine. They've been dating for over 2 years, and they were good together. Hinata was about to say something else, but she quickly covered her mouth and rushed towards the room as fast as possible, as Neji had followed as he stopped outside. As she came out after a while, "Are you alright?" he asked. "I must have had some bad sushi," she said. "Let me check you just in case." As he performed a simple diagnostic jutsu, his eyebrow rose. "Is it the sushi?" she asked. "No, it's not the sushi," he said, as he had a smile on his face. "I guess congratulations are in order." "What do you mean?" As she decided to scan herself, her eyes went wide as Neji smiled. Time skip. Gabriella was lying on top of Haku, as both of them were naked. After everything, she needed this, as she could hear his heartbeat. She needed this to make sure that she was alive, to feel this feeling with him, as they were currently in the hotel. No, they were just relaxing. "It's June 1st and my birthday is on the 10th. Gabriella suddenly spoke. "I know," Haku said. "I have to make a decision." "I know. I love you and I want to be with you." "I know." She lifted her face. "I'm pregnant." "I know." "Wait, what?" he said to her, as he sat up, as she could see the shock and panic on his face. As she laughed. Sorry, I was just joking. I'm not pregnant." "Why would you joke about something like that?" he asked. "I just want you to say something besides 'I know.'" As she lay back down. "What would you do if I really was pregnant?" He turned over. "I would ask you to marry me and beg you to help me form my new clan." "And what if I wanted to remain a Uchiha? What would you do then?" she asked curiously. As he looked at her for a moment. "Then, I guess I would become a Uchiha," he said. Really?" she said, shocked. "Every time I asked you, you were against joining my clan." "That is because I want our children to be raised out of your clan's rules and pressures. Think about Alisa for a moment. When she was a hostage, she was treated with love and made to feel like a part of the family. Now she's trained to try and become a ninja, yet she's treated in the exact same manner. No better, no worse. And if she failed to become a ninja, I have no doubt that Kushina-sama, Naruto, and the rest of them of the clan would still love her and see her as family. Would the Uchihas do the same?" Gabriella shook her head. The answer to that was rather obvious. If she had the ability to mold chakra and somehow failed to graduate the academy, she would have been disowned. Haku nodded as he knew that much. "I want my children raised like Amikazes, not like Uchihas." "Then why would you agree to join my clan?" she asked. "I would only agree if my child was going to be born into the clan no matter what. I won't abandon my son or daughter." She looked at him. "Family is more important to you than power, isn't it?" "Of course it is," he said. "Nothing in this world is more important than being with those you love and who need you." She nodded as she leaned in and kissed him. "I know," she said. Time skip. As Naruto was between appointments, as he had time to wonder about something. He is 6. As he remembered what Itachi had said about pain. It had been a warning, but Naruto had no idea what it meant. 6 what? 6 years old? 6 feet tall? 600 pounds? As he had that image in his mind, well, it looked rather strange. Of a 6-year-old that was 600 pounds, 6 feet tall, beating the crap out of Itachi. And it was rather funny. When Jiraiya was feeling a bit better, he would talk to him and see if he had any ideas, as he held off on saying anything yet. Once he was fully healed from his wounds, he would talk to him about pain and the Rinnegan, whatever that was. There was a knock and Shizune popped her head in. "Naruto, do you have time to see Hinata? She says she has something important to tell you." Naruto smiled. "I always have time for her." Hinata entered with a spring in her step as she walked over and sat down in his lap. She leaned in and gave him a sweet kiss. Naruto smiled as he wrapped his arms around her. "Hinata-chan, was there something you need to tell me? Or was that just an excuse for you to come in here and have your way with me? Because I'm fine with either." She giggled as she gave him another kiss. "Actually, Naruto, I have to inform you, I can no longer perform any missions above the rank." "What?" he said. That caught him by surprise, as she had forced him not to promise anymore to protect her, because she had trained and she was strong on her own. She wanted to go on missions with him no matter how dangerous they might be. "Why the sudden change, Hinata-chan? You're not hurt, are you?" "No, I'm not hurt, Naruto-kun," she said. "The reason I can't go on any more missions is because of the 77 rule of ninja conduct." 77 rule, he said. "You do know that one, right?" she said. "Of course, I memorized all 120 rules," said Naruto. "Let's see. To safeguard the future of the village. No, Kunoichi may perform missions above the rank or be placed in a hazard situation once it is confirmed that she's with. Naruto's head completely spin around as Hinata had a smile on her face. Which child she finished for him? I'm pregnant, she said. Outside, Yujito was standing. As Hinata went to speak with Naruto, Shizune was just there smiling. Something unusual going on. Yujito asked. Shizune shook her head. No, it's just nice to see those two together. I know both of them their entire life, and it just made me happy to know that they will always be together. I suppose they do make a nice couple, Yujito said. Before Shizune could say anything else, there was a thump in the office. As Hinata cried out Naruto, the both of them rushed in the office. As Naruto was unconscious on the floor, Hinata was kneeling over him. What happened? Both Shizune and Yujito said at the same time. Well, he fainted, Hinata said. He fainted? Shizune said she knelt down and checked on him. I gave him some news. Well, I guess it was too much of a surprise. Yujito stood there. He fought an S-rank missing nin, completely blind without hesitation. What could she possibly say that overwhelmed him like this? As Naruto came to momentarily, as he opened his eyes to see the two of them over him. His eyes shot wide open. Hinata-chan, we're going to have a baby, he said. Yujito raised an eyebrow. Well, I guess that will do it. As Hinata smiled. Yes, we're Naruto-kan, she said. Yes, we are. After receiving congratulations from Shizune and Yujito, Naruto got to his feet and summoned 50 clones. As they started stampede out the office, marching and jumping through windows. Naruto-kan, what are you doing? I want everyone to know the good news, said Naruto. Hinata giggled into his chest as he was holding on to her, as he was always excited to share his good news. That was one of the things she has always loved about him. Naruto says Shizune, do you think it would be wise to do that? Of course. I want everyone to know, he said. What could be wrong with that, he asked. A few hours later, Naruto and Hinata are walking home together, hand in hand with Yujito a few steps behind. All the way home, people stop and congratulate them on the news. The walk took them much longer than usual, as they had to stop many times. Older women insist on giving Hinata advice and home remedies that they all swore will help her over the next 9 months. Some of them gave her special charms that they said will help her conceive either a boy or a girl. Many small children came up to them, giving them happy wishes and also giving them hand-picked flowers. Naruto and Hinata enjoyed the attention, as they were both in a happy mood right until they saw Hayashi and Kushina waiting for them at the gate. Kushina was trying to look severe, but there was a big smile that she could try to fight off as much as she wanted, but it would not go down. Hayashi, however, was rather stern, as Naruto gulped as the man was looking directly towards him. Time skip. You're completely lacking in restraint and self-control, Hayashi said, as he glared at the two of them. And do you not think such important news should have been shared with the family before the entire village, Hayashi said. Yes, Hayashi-san, said Naruto, as he felt like squirming, as he was sitting on a couch in Hinata while Hayashi lectured him about proper behavior. Even though he was still in the robes of Hokage, he was just sitting there, as he felt like a 10-year-old who was being caught doing something wrong. Do you know how I found out I was going to be a grandchild? I was lecturing Hanabi about lack of focus when one of your clones ran by, shouting that you were going to be a father. No, I asked you, is that the way a man should learn such a thing? No, Hayashi-san, and I apologize for such a thing, said Naruto. I was just so excited, I want to share the whole news with the entire village, he said. And what the village? What would they think, knowing what their Hokage has done? Father, Hinata said, they're very happy for us, just look. As she pointed towards a nearby table that was covered in flowers and cards. Those were gifts that were left outside at the main gate. Obviously the villagers share or joy at the good news. She has a point, Hayashi. It's not like people are upset by this, said Kushina. Clearly, most are pleased to know their Hokage will have an heir soon. Kushina was not upset one bit. Hayashi turned to her and frowned, but now they all know that this has happened before. They have been married. Kushina chuckled. I think the world will still continue. They have been betrothed for over 2.5 years now, and they have always been close. Surely what have happened is not that shocking, is it? Especially since you did give permission for her to stay here. He tried his best to look shocked. When he agreed to that, it was so she can assist Naruto with all of his new responsibility as Hokage. I never imagined they would behave as they did. Oh really? Did you and Hana wait until their wedding day? As, with those words, a rare sight occurred as Hayashi actually blushed in embarrassment. Father, said Hinata. That has nothing to do with it, he said. Fine, but let's stop torturing the children, said Kushina. This was not the first or last time a child will be conceived out of wedlock. As long as the child's not born out of it, there shouldn't be any problem. Hayashi nodded, though it's far from ideal, I suppose that is true. Your wedding will be moved up to July, he said. That is the earliest new arrangements can be made. Naruto looked over. Is that alright with you, Hinata-chan? He asks. Hinata looked towards Kushina. Will we still be able to use the rose garden? Of course, dear, said Kushina. Then, as long as everyone can still attend, I'm happy to get married sooner. Is it alright with you, Naruto-kun? Will you be there? Naruto asks. She giggled and nodded. I don't think it will be much of a wedding without the bride being there. He gave her a huge smile. Then, it's fine with me. That night, there was a huge celebration at Namikaze estate. Family, friends, all came by to congratulate the new couple, well, on their new baby coming. At the party, as Hinata was surrounded by all her girlfriends, Ino, Tenten, Temari, Gabriella, Teiwaya, all of them are there. As the Hokage chief advisor made his way toward him with a grim look. You know, thanks a lot, Naruto, he said. Hey, what did I do, Naruto asked. Well, thanks to you now. All Temari wants to talk about is having kids. So, you already married her. Weren't you two planning on having kids, Naruto asked. Yes, eventually. Shikamaru stretched that word. The plan was for us to have one girl and one boy. Hopefully after a few years of us getting settled into married life. Now all of a sudden she wants a big family and want to start having kids immediately. Man, this is just troublesome. Oh come on Shika, this can't be that bad. Sorry, but I'm gonna be borrowing him for a while, said Temari. As she came over and grabbed Shikamaru by the hand, pulling him away. Help me, he muttered the words. Meanwhile, Kushina was looking at Miru. No gray hairs, check. No wrinkles, check. She took a couple steps back. Firm, athletic body, check. She sighed. I'm still way too young to be a grandmother. Wasn't Naruto a baby in my arms just a little while ago? Where did the years go? She would love the child with all of her heart. She was overjoyed to know that they would be having a family soon. She just wished there was somewhere to have grandchildren without becoming a grandmother. All the conversation came to a halt as a man, dressed in his hospital gown with 2 state bottles, came in the room. Naruto, congratulations! I'm sure the two of you will make fine parents. As Jiraiya lift one of the bottles and drink a toast. Perfect granddad, what are you doing here? Said Naruto. Kid, how many times have I told you not to call me that in public? Anyway, how could I not come here to celebrate your pendant fatherhood? And like I'm really gonna miss a chance to get free steak. Jiraiya, what are you doing out of the hospital? Asked Hinata. Neji's attack wore off. After that. Well, I'm the great Toad Sage, he said. Naruto summoned 4 clones as they restrained Jiraiya in his drunken state, which was a bit hard to do but they still did it, as they carried him off back to the hospital. As Naruto and Hinata danced, at the far wall Yujito was standing there. As a voice spoke up. Why so sad, Yujito-chan? I am not sad. Naruto is a good man and Hinata loves him very much. You're happy, but you're more sad. Why is that? It's nothing important. This is how humans feel when they give up a dream. Even if it was a really silly dream. Why give up? If you like him, go and get him. That may work for cats but not for people. He's happy. And I would like to see him happy. Besides, he's the Hokage of this village. And I'm merely his bodyguard. I'm not even a ninja of this village. What am I supposed to say to him? That I like him? Foolishness. As she heard the Nibi laughing. You humans are the foolish ones. Reasons are unimportant. Logics are unimportant. All that matters is what you feel. As the Nibi stopped talking, she simply remained where she was. She watched as Naruto and Hinata dance. It was easy to see how in love they were. She really did like him. Naruto accepted her in a way that no one in her home village ever had. She respects his courage and strength and admires his ability for accepting people as they were. Yes, she indeed liked him, but she would never tell him. She would not embarrass him by making him aware of a ridiculous crush. Time skip. As the party had ended, that both Naruto and Hinata were lying in bed together. As his hand was on her stomach. So in 9 months, we're gonna be parents. In about 8.5 months. Yes, we will, she said. To Naruto, the thought that he was going to be a father was amazing. In many ways, it was more incredible than being Hokage. But what it meant was, he will soon have a new precious person in his life. Someone he will love with all his heart. And someone he will give his last breath to protect. One more reason I can't fail. Why, I won't fail. I have to stop pain no matter what. Even if it costs me my life. Skip. The rain was pouring down. Kakashi was looked up into the endless grey sky. As he sighed, I don't suppose. As Kiba simply looked at Kakashi with a glare. Right, say Kakashi. As Kiba couldn't pick up a trail. They have been pursuing their targets now for 2 weeks. Throughout that time it had been raining almost constantly, which meant that Kiba nose was useless, so they had to track him the old-fashioned way. Which was not helped by the rain either, as he had long since left River Country, and they were in the land of beer. Man, I hate being stuck in this damn rain, said Kiba, as Akmar wimped in an agreement. You know, we've been at this for quite a while now. We sure have, and we'll probably be here a while longer. Unless you want to run home with your tail between your legs. Kiba grimaced, I'll never do that. but we still aren't close to catching up to him yet. As Kakashi sighed, he really wanted to stop raining, as he could read his book as well if it stopped. Meanwhile, Sohaku has his back pressed against a tree. He wondered why would they leave him alone. All he wanted was to be left alone and live in peace, but they kept on chasing him. He looked up as a large grey wolf approached him with a fat rabbit in his jaw. As the wolf dropped the rabbit meat in front of him, with a smile, Sohaku reached out and rubbed the wolf's head, as the wolf growled appreciatively. Good boy, thank you. He wished people would treat him as well as the wolf did, but they were always cruel. All of them, except for Mother. He picked up the rabbit. He couldn't start a fire in the rain, but he usually didn't bother with that when there were people around, as he bit into the rabbit and started to chew. Meanwhile, Pain Image watched as the gigantic turtle disappeared from sight, last of his chakra being absorbed. We are done now, he said, as he looked towards Deidara and Saucer, the only one physically there. Well done, both of you. Now, we only have 2 remaining. Saucer grumbled, we're not leaving the 5 tails to Kabuto and Tobi, are we? Yeah, that would be a disaster, said Deidara. Deidara-senpai hurting Tobi's feelings, said Tobi. Yeah, well, too bad. The one thing you're good at is running around. Saucer snorted, and your partner is worthless as well. I think we may have made a mistake in promoting him to full membership. With respect, Saucer-sama, had the foursome Konoha not arrived, we would have captured the 5 tails. That you allow your part to be killed, and yourself to be weakened so badly. Prove your weakness. No other members of the Akatsuki would have failed so miserably. The rule is that each member is responsible for capturing 1 Biju, or Jinjoke. Pain said calmly, do you suggest we abandon that policy? I do, said Saucer. When we do, there were 9 to be captured, and we still had Itachi, Kisame, and Uchiha members. So much has changed since then, we should change the policy as well, and assign what team should be best be able to capture the target. If we change the rule now, who get the chakra from demons? Asked Kakazu. The 7 senior members of the Akatsuki will each receive the power of 150 beasts, said Pain, as he was lying. Pain, Konan, Deidara, Saucer, Hidan, Kakazu, Zetsu, all of them accepted that, as Tobi merely shrugged. What about me, said Kabuto. You have done nothing to warrant the power of a Biju. You may remain a member of the organization for now. I will decide at a later date who will receive the power of the 8th demon. Kabuto's astral form looked unhappy, but he did not argue. Yeah, so are we doing this? Asked Deidara. Pain glanced towards Tobi, as Tobi saw the hand sign that none of them saw. We shall alter the rules. Within the next few days I shall select a team that will pursue the 5 tails. And what of the 2 tails? Asked Saucer. That decision will have to wait after the 5 tails has been gathered. For now, rest. And with that he ended his jutsu and blinked away, as Konan was gone as well. As Pain and Konan found themselves in their secret base. As Konan stretched. I'm starving, she said. How about I make us some beef stew? Pain nodded after 3 days of not eating was hungry. That sounds fine. Time skip. Father, can I talk to you? As she stuck her head in his study to see someone there with him. Of course, my dear. A young boy. He looked a bit like Sasuke, black hair, black eyes. Sigh, we should continue our talk at another time. Of course, Ryuki-sama. The boy stood and bowed to him. I look forward to it. And with that he left as he had a creepy fake smile on his face. Who was that? Asked Gabriella as she entered. No one of any importance, her father said. Well, my dear, tomorrow's a big day. You'll be 18. Are you excited? Yes, but not because of that, as she looked nervous. You finally come to your decision, haven't you? And none too soon. This has been a very hard choice, father. My heart has been torn in half. I want to do what is right for the clan, but also what is right for him. I honestly thought he would agree to join the Uchiha, but he never changed his mind. Ryuki nodded. That is a shame, dear. Its Keiki Genkai would have made an incredible addition to our own. Its bloodline has nothing to do with it, she said. Father, I love him. Yes, I know that, he said. Love is a wonderful thing, especially when you're young. But marriage must always serve the greater needs of the clan. She looked at him. Did you love my mother? I did. I loved her very much. But had she been a common woman who could not mold chakra, I would not have married her, even though you love her. He shrugged. I want to make sure all of my children would achieve the Sharingan. Well, I know how true that is, she said. So daughter, what is your decision? Will you marry for love, or for the good of the clan? Time skip. Kushina went to answer the door as Gabriella was there. Is something wrong there? She asked, seeing the look on her face. Gabriella shook her head. Is Haku here? I need to talk to him. He's upstairs in his room. Kushina gave a grin. You do remember where that is, right? From your last visit. As she blushed. Yes, Sensei, I do. As she rushed past her and went up the stairs. After a quick knock, Haku opened as she went inside. He was more than a little surprised to see her. Is something wrong, Gabriella? He asked. I wasn't expecting to see you until the party tomorrow. Ask me to marry you again, she said. What? I know you asked me 6 or 7 times already, but just please ask me once more. He spoke slowly and carefully. Gabriella, will you marry me? Yes, she said, as she leaned forward and kissed him. And before you even asked, yes, I will help you, fine. The Momokai clan, she said. For the next 2 minutes, they simply kiss. What happened, he asked. Haku, if I lost my Sharingan, and I wasn't a Kunoichi, and I could not mold chakra, and everything else about me was still the same, would you still love me? Of course, he said without hesitation. As she kissed him once again. That is why I chose you, she said. Time skip. As Naruto had told Jiraiya what he knew about the Rinnegan, as Jiraiya told him about a story about 3 young kids that he ran into in the 3rd Great Shinobi War, Yaiko, Konan, and Nagato, when even Orochimaru and Tsunade were there. Then one night, they were attacked by a rain ninja. I arrived to see Nagato ice the Rinnegan. It was a dojutsu that gave him the ability to wield all 6 elemental chakra. All 6, Naruto said. I thought that was impossible. So did I, but he did. After that, I taught them as much as I could. Train that would at least make them be able to protect themselves. I then returned to my travels. I told them we will meet again when they became adults. What happened to them, said Naruto. I thought they'd all die in reigns of war. Well, apparently, this Nagato is still alive, said Naruto. It can't be him, Jiraiya said. He hated the idea of killing. Absolutely hated it. Nagato. Not him. People change, perfect granddad, said Naruto. Not like that. Nagato was too gentle of a soul to be capable of the things Pain has done. Well, at least I know about the Rinnegan now. I don't suppose you have any idea what it being 6 means. Not a clue, sorry. As he headed for a door. But Naruto stepped in front of him. Where do you think you're going? I'm heading in the rain to find out. Who is this Pain, he said. No, you're not, said Naruto. Look, kid, if it really is Nagato, I owe it to him to try and help him. If I can. He's a student of mine and I owe him at least that much. Naruto shook his head. I don't care if he was your student. He is our #1 enemy and a ninja, capable of easily defeating Itachi. I don't want you anywhere there until I'm capable and ready to bring all my forces on him. Until I say so, Rain Country is off limits. Jiraiya smirked. You know what they say, kid? Anything that is forbidden is usually wanted. Jiraiya, as the Hokage, I'm giving you a direct order not to go there. Good one, Jiraiya said. If you swear, I will ban the sale of all of your books and shut down the public baths. You wouldn't, said Jiraiya. Try me, said Naruto. I lost Nadia and not losing you as well. I don't care if he's your old student or not. He's too dangerous for you to take on alone. Promise me that you will stay clear of Rain Country. Jiraiya sighed. Alright, kid, I'll stay clear of the rain for now. Is it okay with you if I get back to my information gathering? Just so long as your spine doesn't take you anywhere near the Hidden Rain border. Yes, mother, Jiraiya said. The next day, as Kiba looked up in the clear sky, it actually stopped raining. As Kakashi was amazed. Let's not waste it. Have you got his scent? Kiba sniffed for a moment. I got him. Lead the way. Meanwhile, Soko was sick of running as he sat at the top of a hill, calmly eating an apple waiting for his pursuers. When they finally showed their face, he was going to kill them. As Kiba and Kakashi made their way, Kiba stopped. Why? We're almost on top of him. I know. As Kakashi went through hand sign, back on. Go tell Naruto that we find the person that we were tracking. Got it. And with that, Pakon moved away. We don't need Naruto for this, said Kiba. We can take on this guy ourselves. Maybe, but that is not what the Hokage wants. He told us to contact him once we find him. Kiba sniffed and looked upwards. Well, I hope he gets here quick. Looks like rain. Above them, clouds are gathering. Meanwhile, 40 million, said Naruto. That's less than what Kakashi got for killing Orochimaru. Well, Orochimaru had a longer career. What will you do with the money? Nothing, said Naruto. I have plenty of money already. I'm not going to bleed the village for something that I did in the line of duty. Not all of the bounties were put up. As Naruto smiled a bit. By chance, was any of this put up by the Uchiha clan? Yes, 10 million. Well, I wouldn't want to offend the Uchiha clan, so I might as well just accept that 10 million and put the other in the village fountain, he said. As Shizune giggled a bit. Pakon then appeared on Naruto next. Naruto, Kakashi sent me to let you know that they caught up with the shinobi that they were chasing. Great, Nerd says. He started to pull off his Hokage robes as he had on the Uzumaki battle armor underneath. Yujito, he said, as she popped her head in. Yes, Hokage-san. We're going to talk to the ninja Itachi and Kabuto were chasing. He looked over at Shizune. She had her arm crossed, and she did not look pleased. I really don't like you doing this, Naruto. You're the Hokage. You shouldn't be leaving the village to perform missions. Well, I'm the only one that can perform the Harishing, so I sort of have to, he said. As he tried giving her a winning smile. I have to go, he said. No, you're not, she said, as he gave her a smile once again. You know me way too well, as he created a clone. I'll leave a clone here, in case of anything urgent appear. As he looked towards Yujito, you ready? She raised an eyebrow. Don't you have to put me in a stroll first? Not when it's only one person. As he took a hold of her hand, I could feel nothing holding on to her. Her heart skipped a beat. It really said something about her life. Just that tiny feeling was able to get her jumping like that. He's touching you. Do you like it? Shut up, she said. As Naruto looked at her a bit closely. Yujito-chan, are you alright? You look a bit flushed. She couldn't help but feel self-conscious, as Shizune was also looking. I'm just fine, she said. He looked at her for a bit more, but then nodded. Hand in hand they disappear. Time skip. This is so not a good idea, Sekiba. Look, I don't want to fight this guy, unless I have to, said Naruto. That's a noble statement, Naruto, but given what he did to Jiraiya, don't you think it's better for us to approach him as a group? If we do that, he will see this attack, and we'll probably have to fight him. So instead, you and Yujito are just gonna walk up right to him, Kakashi's question. Just giving him a nice easy target. It's the best way to show that we're not trying to attack him. When you see that, he should know that we're not hostile. Unless he just thinks that you're really stupid. I heard that, said Naruto as Kiba muttered it. Good, said Kiba. For right now, just watch, and keep a safe distance, said Naruto. As both him and Yujito made their way, Sohaku had picked up the two new scents drifting on the wind, so 4 ninjas were coming for him. As Sohaku got to his feet, he has faced worse odds before. At least the one with red eyes was one of them, as he shuddered at the memory of that fight. He had only escaped by unleashing a full torrent of lightning on the air around him. It had been the closest he ever came to being captured, as his hand drifted to the spot above his heart where the seal was. Not for the only time that he thought that he was truly cursed. Not just for demons to have him, but because of his own nature. He loved the freedom or just running wild with the wolves. The problem was, no matter how hard he fought it, his nature was to be human, not a wolf. Eventually, after enough months, he would start to get lonely. When that happened, he would try to find a small village or town, doing odd jobs, just trying to fit in. Sometimes it was a disaster from the start, and sometimes it would be not bad. He always tried hard to please, and he was a solid worker. Occasionally, people would appreciate that. There had even been a girl once. Gentle green eyes and brown hair. He couldn't remember her name anymore, but her scent was in his memory. She had been nice to him, and for a little while he thought he might have been happy. But then the hunter needs found him, like they always did when he stayed in one place for too long. He clenched his fists. Why? Why couldn't they just leave him alone? He would live a quiet life and never bother anyone, but they just wouldn't leave him alone. His mind snapped back to the present, as he was surprised to see only 2 ninjas jogging towards him. The other 2 were still pretty far away. They weren't hunting him though. They didn't have the mask. Just like the ones with the red cloud, they weren't trying to bring him back to the hidden stone. But the ones with the red cloud had still attacked him. These 2 were friends, the one that had been chasing for so many days. The sky started to get darker and lightning started to clash. He hadn't started the rain yet, but he was ready. He breathed in their scents. These 2 were different, he could tell. But he didn't let himself hope that they wouldn't be his enemies. But he was curious. But guys, be any subscribe right here. If you want the next part of this story to do, like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn on that bell notification to stay posted. Remember, share to all of your friends and social media platform. And also, go ahead and check out the brand new episode of What If Naruto Was Blamed and It Changed Him, guys, on this channel, and enjoy that. And over on Anime King 3, I post a brand new episode of What If Naruto Was Betrayed by Hagoromo, so go ahead and enjoy that as well, guys. I'll be leaving the link at the top of the description for you guys to enjoy. And remember, if you're new and this is the first time you hear my voice, and you enjoy the videos on both Anime King and Anime King 3, go ahead and click that red subscribe button and become part of the Anime King family. And thank you for all of your help and your support. Remember to comment down below and tell me if you're new. I'll be planning talking about all of you. So yeah, without further ado, I'm out for now. See you guys tomorrow. Peace.